Are you ready? Can crush us. It don't really get no better than this. The podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah, Can Crushers. Yeah, Can Crushers. Let's go.
This is the hardcore icon, Just Incredible, and you're listening to Can Crushers Podcast. Now, that's not just the coolest, and that's not just the best Can Crushers Podcast. Well, that, my friends, is just incredible.
Who the fuck are we?
It's the most
That's
beautiful
Michael
sound ever made. That's who the fuck are we?
Yeah. Man, this has been the longest pause Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast has ever been on. And we'll get there when we get there. But hold on. My God. We are so horrible at the hellos, but it sounded so good, Jenks. Listen, I've seen Jenks since, and we've spoken a lot. But, yeah, that hello, it did something. It did.
It soothes the soul, if you will. It's been too long since we could let that out.
The week after Rumble.
Wait.
In why? By the way, that's Sir Michael Jenks. I'm Mark the Mark. Welcome to Can Crushers.
In case you guys forgot.
Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. We didn't eat ourselves off a bridge or anything like that. Life. And we don't need to go over the whole 2.5 month process of it. And I can sum it up real quick. A lot of it's because of my job. Dead nuts, period. Remember how excited I was that I was climbing the ranks? It bit me in the ass.
Welcome to climbing the ranks. I mean, it's the higher you go, the more you're in demand. It's just the way it is.
Between winter, fingers being cut off, training somebody, people quitting, getting fingers replaced. This has not happened to me, but it has happened to people that I know. But I have all 10, right, Jenks? You
have all 10 digits right now. Yeah. Now, toes I can't verify, but
I
at
have
least 10 fingers.
I have Mr. Rogers socks on right now. It's kind of still cold down here.
That's very nice, yeah.
It's been a shitty January, February, and March.
Yeah.
Most of April as well.
Oh, yeah.
It has been work. It has been, not personal life. It really has just been work that has kept us out. We also have had some other situations. Hey, Jenks can't record. I'm not throwing you under the bus.
No, you're good.
Can't record this night because he's still getting married in less than a month now.
Yeah, and then there was at one point I got sick at least twice over that time where we were trying and I got sick and I'm like, well, fuck, that sucks for us too. So it's just.
And when Jenks is down, I feel bad. So I'm like, all right, we're going to take the week off because we need to regroup. Mark needs to get mentally right because it was 6 weeks prior we weren't doing anything. I'm like, all right, you ready? Jenks is like, I feel like ass. I'm like, one more week won't do anything. We'll come back the following Friday. So it was only maybe 7 weeks, which would still have been long. But still, that week, I'm like, Jenks, we're ready to go. Water main break.
Mm-hmm.
This break. That break. And I'm like, why don't you guys record on different nights? Because shit doesn't happen until the day before.
Yep, 100%.
Is the way
you can't plan it. You can't plan the weather. You can't plan what objects are going to do, water mains or all that shit. Can't even plan me getting sick.
No.
And I mean, it's just one of those things where you can't plan for it. And even when you do, something else happens and it kind of derails and torpedoes everything.
So we didn't leave any emails or questions on the Facebooks or anything like that. We didn't leave. We're not restructuring. We're not doing anything different.
Yeah.
We just had to wait that freaking part of 2025 out of the way. It is now nicer, so I'm not going to get called in for snow, knock on wood, or anything like that. But still, it's been. So welcome back. Thank you if you're listening to this. We'll see, not that I'm looking for numbers or pushing for numbers, because we do this for ourselves, and you guys listen and make fun of us.
Exactly.
Welcome back. Welcome aboard if you're just finding us, because we could be now in the new podcast era again.
Maybe this resets the, whatever it is, the metrics or something. Yeah, the algorithm. That's what I was thinking of. The algorithm.
Jenks has wine, because he's fancy like that now, him and Walker Hayes. And I went back to, is it Walker Hayes who sings that? Why did that come to my mind so quick?
Honestly, I don't even... Is it Walker Hayes?
I don't know. Sounded right.
Oh, it's the Applebee song. Yeah, so Walker Hayes. Yeah. I think so.
And I have Mango Cart. We're drinking heavily tonight because all is right now in our lives. Because you know what, Jenks? As people are listening to this, you know where I'm going. Which brings it back to, holy shit, it just plans to be correct.
Where you going?
I'm going to the Blue Gold game as people are listening to this.
That's true. That is this weekend.
We're back to college football.
Springtime, baby. It's perfect timing.
It is perfect timing. So I got a smile on my face. Everything's all right. I want to thank everybody for hanging around and being here. This is going to be a State of the Union, so to speak, wrestling with us. We'll get caught up on everything. Major reset next week when we do WrestleMania predictions and everything like that. I think WrestleMania is to crown the six-pack championship since I didn't defend in 90 days.
I mean, you know, if we go by NWA rules, it would be 30 days, but, you know, we'll say 90 days.
Jack Tunney.
Yeah, we like Jack Tunney. We like Jack Tunney. 90 days. We reset the clocks. Maybe I get it back without having to actually defeat Mark for it, technically. I mean, take it off of him, I should say. But we'll see what happens. 2 nights of WrestleMania, though. Anything can happen. Yeah. And it's projecting, 14, 15 matches, I heard, at one point.
Which means it's about 20 hours long.
Yeah, I saw, I don't know how true it is. I can't remember who reported it, but they said it was going, right now on Peacock, it's scheduled to run 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. 3 hours of that is at least pre-show bullshit. 1 hour should be the post-show. So something like 5 hours, I think they calculated it out to be, should be the actual main show.
Which means I'm alright with that. Because I've already put in that I'm off on Monday. Because I need to stay up and watch the debauchery on a good term of what's going on and stuff like that. Tons of vacation, tons of expendable hours to deal with. So they're like, why are you taking off? I'm like, the night before is WrestleMania. I'm not coming in.
Yeah. I'm praying. I'm watching WrestleMania live on Sunday. I already got stuff going on Saturday, so the liveness of WrestleMania will not happen night one, but we'll see what happens.
We talked about this prior to going on. Could you pull off 10 hours of WrestleMania in one day?
I've done it before.
I know you have. I'm just making sure.
I know. But I was younger back then, and it was.
That was also prior to, and this isn't a knock, a live-in wife, essentially.
Yes, it's actually the year before Kimberly moved in. So 2023, we were going to watch WrestleMania at her place in Meadville. Power went out, did not come back on till like 10:30, and I'm like, I'm not catching this halfway through. So I ended up coming home early, sat down, and it was literally like 1, 2 o'clock, put it on, go right into the second WrestleMania.
But that's when you were a bachelor.
That's when you're, bachelor, living alone and all that. And Billy's like, we got to do something else than sit here. And I'm like, you can go outside, but that's about it. So.
You need to give an update. But before that, because you just rattled something in my brain, I had to yell at Max today.
What?
I had to yell at Max today.
Was he not hitting enough home runs in the show?
We'll talk about that. No, the real Max got his 4-wheel drive in, and he was 2 houses down, chasing a ground chuck, as he calls them. And I'm not mad that he's chasing them out of the yard. I'm mad that if the groundhog, woodchuck, whatever you want to call it, we just put them all together, has homeboys waiting for him.
Yeah.
And he gets mugged in the neighbor's yard or something, or this one just gets, frisky and turns around and grabs them.
Right.
So I sat down and I not yelled, but I, had the disappointing talk with my dog. He lowered his ears, put his head down, put his paw on. He took a time out for an hour, and I felt worse than he did. Well, we went out right before we went on air, did his business, didn't look around, came back in, so I know it set in with him.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta have that talk. I was having talks with Bailey because she's a lunatic when it comes to barking at people out the window and dogs and all that. Like, it's just her nature. Charlie and her will just bark at people. I had to redo the window because she's fucked it up. I had to repaint it, do all that. We put in a little table between the couch and that, so that now should be protected, right? Well, it is, but she's found new ways to just mess up the living room. Her latest is going full bore from the kitchen to the couch, ass
like
to the
Superwoman dog?
Like Superwoman, ass, everything, momentum. And when she hits the couch, she pushes it down. So it slides down the carpeted floor now because we put in the carpet in the living room. And I'm like, today I got home, it's touching the china cabinet we have in there. And I'm like, are you shitting me right now, dog? The one time I caught her, she's trying to get on the little ass table that's only 9 inches behind the couch.
Bigger than 9 inches.
And she's bigger than 9 inches. Charlie's looking at her like, what the fuck are you doing, girl? And he's 9 pounds of fury himself. So I'm like, girl, I was a little more vocal about my disappointment. Yelled at her a little bit, and I said, you've got to stop this bullshit. First of all, I don't know who you think you are trying to get on top of the table, let alone pushing the couch down. One problem at a time here. My biggest thing is I'm concerned because they both run out the window to bark out it. He's small. She's not. And she's bowled him over before.
He's going to go out the window.
He's going to go out the window. He's going to get hurt. And nobody wants that. So I'm just trying to look out for him. I think she understood that. She's been a little bit more calm in the past couple hours, but we'll see if it sticks long term past this. But
he's giving her hell right now.
He's telling her, you got to settle down, sister.
Yeah, now everybody knows. You got to figure out now, Bailey.
And she's like the delta of this family. She's literally the lowest on the food chain in this household.
Aww.
It's sad for her, but she's always been she's a lot of bark, right?
Yeah, I know that.
I know, you know that, but she doesn't do anything about it. And she's very, like, submissive, like, very much like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna walk away, type thing. So, I feel bad for her, but it's also like, okay, you gotta calm down. If you're overweight right now, you can't be throwing your weight around like you are. So, but.
Both doggos had a bad day.
Both doggos had a bad day. They had to have the conversation with myself in the mirror every morning. Listen, you might be overweight, but you can't throw your weight around. So, but.
So give us a life update on you. We partied last weekend, so that's FYI for you guys. You guys weren't getting a show last weekend no matter what, so that was a scheduled one off the Jenks. No.
Yeah, we had the Bachelor's Retreat, which had so many twists and turns before I even got involved into it, because I didn't know anything until I actually went.
Yeah.
So there's twists, turns. There was a bunch of them texting me, hey, are you afraid of heights? Hey, are you allergic to baboon asses? Hey, are you, name it. Do you have a rain suit? which now I do, thankfully.
You do.
I bought one.
They see that you do, by the way.
They see, yeah, as sure as hell.
It's on the thumbnail. They see.
Yeah.
They're like, why is Jake wearing a rain suit in a wrestling podcast?
That's my new rain suit, just in case. But it was a good weekend. Nice fucking retreat after everything was said and done. Life update wise, wedding, more wedding, maybe a wedding, still a wedding, all of that, and a bag of rocks. So really it's been a lot of wedding stuff. And I also signed up for mental health first aid coming up here next week. So I was pretty excited about that through work. So yeah.
Excellent. I love that. We need to pick your brain about all of that. I love that.
Yeah, I'll be taking it. Oh shit! It's the day after WrestleMania. That'll be fun. That's an all-day session after WrestleMania. So, but
oof, you'll need your mental health that day.
I will need the mental health that day. So we'll see what happens. But yeah. So that's me in a nutshell. How about you?
I gave mine away. I gave mine away of work and losing Stubby's fingers, and then he comes back, and then he quits, and then snow, and it's baseball season down here, but teams down here started in March, played 4 games thus far, and it's halfway through April because it's horrible weather. And people are like, shut up, Mark, we hear about your job all the time. When I get a day off, it's legit. Okay, I have a dog to take care of. I have laundry to catch up on for 2 weeks. I have this. It is literally just disconnecting from people to get things done. It has been that crazy. Jenks knows. It has just been that crazy busy at work with things just going on that I've lived there, and it's okay. It really is because it keeps me busy, but I just wasn't come home for an hour, water main break.
Yeah.
Get that done, snowstorm. So
get that done, softball. Yeah.
Yeah, right? I personally haven't canceled any softball games prior to because of anything the weather has. So yeah. There were supposed to be 3 this week, all of them got canceled. So it is.
Pennsylvania is not a baseball state. It never will be.
Not until June. Yeah.
Yeah, at least.
Speaking of baseball, I pulled the trigger, got MLB The Show. I took off for that. That was my birthday weekend. That was a scheduled, hey, let's do this type of thing. And then I didn't get to do that type of thing because things happened. So I woke up, I played it from 3 o'clock in the morning until 10 when I had to go to work. And played games here or there. I've created Max as a player who Jenks has figured out in 4 years on Road to the Show, I will break every record known to baseball man.
If you keep the pace you're going at, and if you have, you're going to break it in 4, I think it's like about 4.5. Yeah. So you're going to be having a stellar career. I can't even imagine what you would have after 15, 20-year career if you make it that long.
Just hope no injuries.
That's the biggest thing.
I still haven't recreated. So I created Max, and I played the high school stuff in the Performance Center, whatever the hell they're calling it.
Yeah.
And it came up that I was drafted first round, 6 overall by, I think it was 6, 7, 8, 9, one of them, overall by the Marlins. The whole idea of getting this year's baseball game was to play in college. I was a first round draft pick. How could I not go?
Yeah, seriously.
So I didn't play the reason why I've got this game yet. But it's because Max is so good. Listen, when I say so good, he got called up from AA to AAA in June and still made it to the All-Star game. Won the home run derby, won the overall, broke Barry Bonds' record, broke DiMaggio's record, broke this record, batted, I think it was 765 for the year, RBI record out the ass, this everything, Rookie of the Year. didn't get MVP due to the fact that I didn't have enough plate appearances, which pisses me off because I don't understand that.
You were too efficient.
What?
You were too efficient. Just too many bombs, too little.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just what it is. So yeah, yes, I'm playing on super easy. It's my relaxed game. I'm loving every minute of getting, what was it really, Jenks? Was it like I don't have it offhand, but it was like 171 home runs in year number 1. I'm
going to look right now because he sent me a picture of it and I'm like my jaw dropped to the floor when I saw it. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It was unbelievable. I mean, every time he came up to bat.
Yeah, so here are the stats right now. 172 home runs, 273 hits, 327 runs batted in, and 209 runs scored.
All broken records.
I don't, in this graphic that you sent me, I don't have stolen bases. Did you steal anything? Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, you told me that. You're too slow. You're power right now.
I'm a power guy, yeah.
You're power, okay.
We're working on it, though, this year.
Okay, working up.
But I don't get a lot of speed when I'm still, smashing the long ball, me and Big Al.
Listen, if you're hitting dingers like Big Al, hitting dingers, listen, if you're hitting power and hitting dingers, you don't need no goddamn speed. You take that time jotting around that base.
I know this because I played prior right before. I'm at 112 games for my hit streak. So all the games last year, and it continues the following year.
You shattered the hit record.
Yes.
Oh my God. Now, are you DH or are you playing a position?
I'm playing first base.
You're playing first base, okay.
I didn't know.
Well, right, Max's. I didn't know if they switched you to just like DH in the game and just be like, here, have at it, or if you're running, okay.
No. They haven't thrown me a DH yet. I imagine later in my career.
Probably, well, I would say when you get slowed down by age, but I mean, if you're not running right now, there's no bottom here. You're at bottom.
As long as I can hit, they're going to keep me in the lineup.
100%. They'll find a way.
Yeah. And the Marlins were many games under 500. We made it to the divisional series before the Dodgers just smoked us.
Well, if you're the only one hitting for the Marlins, can't really win.
I can't wait till I get my contract to see where I go. I don't know if I want to be a bad clubhouse guy and maybe like a year say trade me. I haven't made that decision yet, but yeah.
Well, you got a year to figure that out.
Right. Are you playing any games?
I am playing the show, but 2024 edition. I just have my guy's Mac Random. I didn't really pick a name. I just kind of went with Random and Mac and hoping for the best. I'm trying to play both pitcher and hitter, but I'm really I just want to sit there and just bomb.
Amazing.
So I'm like, that's a good one to have, so I might just start another one just so I could do straight up hitting and kind of just sit there and kind of relax it and kind of take it off. But that one's going good. I made it through the first month of the season, batting amazing, pitching pretty decently, so playing that, restarted God of War because I needed something to do. Finished Red Dead. I wanted to get back into...
It made me mad.
You what?
I deleted it. It made me mad.
Why did it make you mad?
Because I couldn't get past this one part.
What? Was it still the first level?
Yeah.
Ah, man. You're missing out.
I can pull it back up whenever I want it. It's just not on my home.
I can spoil it for you if you want.
No, don't.
Okay.
One day in 20 years, maybe I'll want it.
I swear to you, by the time you get out of the first level, it picks up. Or out of the second, it starts picking up more and more. So, but I digress. I wanted to pick up Last of Us and then Oh, everybody went away. That was fun.
Yeah.
But I was like, first of all, Last of Us, you have to be ready to be prepared to be very depressed, basically, because it is not a happy game whatsoever. You have no
You're going to
happiness.
mental health training.
I know, right? So I'm like, I started playing it, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to go down this road. I'll just kill things with an axe and blades and play God of War. So that's what I'm doing right now. Replaying that. It's 20th anniversary, so you get a new custom skins and clothing and all that for free. They sent in a patch update for the newest game, so I'm going to play that next. But that's what I'm playing right now. I played Madden, basically took the Bucks fantasy drafted, took them to the Super Bowl, whatever. I want to get back into college football here in the next couple months. I mean, it's time. I'm not going to buy the new game, but I'm just going to get back into the old seasons and kind of play through. So that's what I'm playing, a bit of everything, basically, right now.
It's good. I've only played baseball or hunting. When I needed to really, I fucking hate my job, I will go crocodile hunting or alligator hunting or something.
Just got to get it out.
I do. Other than that, we are a wrestling podcast.
What?
I know, not just a life update podcast for the last 25 minutes.
I've forgotten. It's been too long.
It has been. We're gonna, like I said, we're going to essentially just talk about things that have happened over the last couple months that we didn't get to talk about. We're gonna talk about a couple pay-per-views we'll roll back. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about that. We'll lead up until next week when it's big. Yes, AEW did just have a pay-per-view.
They did.
We may get there. We may. This is everything that's on top of the braids. There's no notes whatsoever for this show. Nothing. No. Because it's just we're going to spitball to get us back in gear, get us back for WrestleMania season. That's one thing I said to Jenks. I said, if anything, we have to figure out, because we can't drop the ball on WrestleMania. So this is us getting back into the realm of everything. It's not like we missed wrestling. We made time for wrestling when we could. Fuck, I watched wrestling at work waiting for shit results to come back in the lab.
I woke up early to watch wrestling and made sure I was still fitting it in. The passion's still there. It just, life did not work out for us to record.
Yes. It was just the recording aspect of it all. Which is a kick in the nuts for a podcast. So, throwing everything out the window that we normally do of sponsors, this, that, or the other. We didn't lose any. We didn't gain any. Nothing like that. But this is a coming home. The boys are back in town show, essentially. So that's what we're going to do.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Let's get on the horse.
We're still on Facebook. We're still on Insta. We're still on X. We're still got our website. We'll bring all those back next week.
Yeah. You can still buy our merch, too, if you're feeling nostalgic. Just saying. CrowdMade's out there. You know, whatever. Just saying.
Everything's there. Yeah. Everything's there. But that's not what it's about. This is just about enjoying wrestling.
100%.
So we'll be back in segment 2 to talk about the thing that draws us so close together, besides so much more, fucking professional wrestling in a random version this week.
Hey, this is Mariah May, the glamour, but you knew that. And you're listening to Can Crushers.
Welcome back to Can Crushers' second segment, when we actually get into professional wrestling that we haven't talked about in a hell of a long time, but we are fucking ready to go. We have to get those taken care of because we haven't had many of those in a while.
I haven't said fuck since the last podcast. That's a lie, but hey, you know, whatever.
Church, union, the I
was almost holy.
Good Lord. So we're going to start off by telling you, don't think this is going to be in any order or any relevancy that we think. We're spitballing this whole thing because that's our best. That's our best. So I'm starting, Jenks, because I've watched 2 episodes of The Dark Side of the Ring that's come out this year already. One I was in attendance for, not Dark Side of the Ring, but the event that they cover, the Hell in the Cell, which I continue to forget that there was a Hell in a Cell prior to that one. That's where Hell in a Cell for me.
Oh, yeah.
With Undertaker and Mankind.
Yeah. Shawn Michaels Undertaker was the first, and then Undertaker Mankind was second, but
Still my number one.
My number one too. People remember Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, I think because they force it on us to remember, hey, this was the first one actually.
Right.
Not just Mankind just trying to kill himself. Yeah.
I knew they had one, but I thought it was after.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched the second episode of Ludwig Borga. I didn't see this past week's yet. It's on the docket to do at some point. Oh man. First I'll talk about the Hell in a Cell one. You know this stuff, but to relive it again 30 years later or whatever, and Mick talking and the kids talking and the wife talking, it gave me goosebumps upon goosebumps all over again as I was in attendance in the 300 section watching it again.
Yeah.
Probably going to be the episode of the year for me.
I need to catch up on all of them, but I already know that one and Vader, which was number 3, were just ones I wanted to eye. But then I started hearing about, I'm going to jump to Borga.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but I heard the stories start coming out of that fucking one, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
What a giant douchebag.
Yeah, what a fucker. Like, I'm like, holy shit. I didn't realize he was that...
Swastikas?
Yeah. He's that big of a piece of shit at this point? Like, what the fuck?
When you think of him as wrestling, you're like, oh, he was a flash in the pan. I don't remember him going to UWF whatsoever as the Viking. I remember maybe an inkling that he looked at Japan, but wasn't anything, but he was kind of something over there. It just never. So I didn't care about the wrestling part of that one. His life. Mine. If you haven't watched it, I don't want to completely put it for you, but my. To be even putting that on TV in today's world shocked the shit out of me.
Like I said, I only heard rumblings of it, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm preforming ideas, like I said, POS and all that stuff, but I'm also like...
Put all of it together and multiply it by...
I'm probably more than I'm even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Now, I want to go back to this and say this. You're looking forward to the Daphne episode for sure. I think a lot of us are. Yeah. I know that's later in the season because I pulled up what the order should be for the year. That one's going to be a very good one when it comes out.
That one's going to...
It's going to pull on your heartstrings a little bit. I shouldn't say a good one, but it's going to pull, and it's going to be a very emotional one in that regard.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Man, I'm not doing this for clout or anything.
No,
We don't give two shits about that. In discussions that have her on the show prior to and everything, that it sucks. That one still bothers me that I didn't get to pull the trigger when we were figuring out days and stuff. So, bad wording. But yeah.
Yeah. That one's going to be something, that one's going to be a tough one to get through.
Yeah.
I'm also intrigued by the Muhammad Hassan episode. I know he did a Chris Van Vliet episode a while back, but I think that one's going to be something else too. Guy was super talented.
As much as they dove into Ludwig's.
Yeah.
Oof.
Listen, all I'm going to say is Hassan's character was made to hate him, but he was fucking good in the ring. And I would have believed and I would have followed him to the end of time.
But shit had to happen in the world.
It happened in
his career.
Bad times. Yeah, bad times. It was bad timing for a lot of things, and a lot of worse things happened in the world that kind of killed him. No, that was bad wording, but killed the momentum of what he could do. So
we'll catch up on this wording in the next couple of weeks that we don't really mess up.
I gotta stop drinking wine during these broadcasts. I don't know. By the way,
bourbon maybe?
I got a bottle of that. But in between segments, got called. Yeah, you're basically an alcoholic now. Because Kimberly came home. I have a ton of beer. We haven't had shows, and if I drink at home, it's because we're recording. I can throw some back. I have all this beer now that is just piling up at my house, so it needs to go. But thank God we're back.
The Jenks Distillery, or where do you go get your beer?
The distributor, yeah,
is now open in case anybody needs anything to drive by. He'll sell by the can even. He'll even sell
by the can, and it's going to be expensive, but I got to make my money back.
Plus, he's got a wedding to pay for.
Exactly. So, it's not cheap. It's like a stag and drag. It's like a drive-by stag and drag. Yeah, exactly. We'll sell tickets on each can of beer. It'll be fine.
I really wanted to start with Dark Side of the Ring because I love it so much. Those guys have been amazing for 6 years, and I hope there's stories out there that still could be told from moons ago. So I hope it's something that Vice continues to re-up. So I always want to give them the props. But in professional wrestling, I'd like you to take the lead and tell me what you are like, something.
I'm going to tell you right now, I've said it 2 months ago, 3 months, 6 months, 8 months. The best thing to hit professional wrestling right now might be Toni Storm. And I feel like we have to pay her props because she had literally carried the storyline with Megasis, and we go back to pay-per-view we didn't cover
because we weren't here.
We weren't here, but Revolution in that Hollywood ending with Mariah May, that match itself was just
match of the year so far for the women. I can't imagine.
I can't go match of the year or spectacle of the year right now because I don't know what to make of it.
Right. I'll give you that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like just perfect story, perfect character development. Not storytelling, but perfect character development. Toni Storm has perfected it, and I think she's just running on all cylinders. So I have to give that props because to me that has been the most engaging thing over the past 3 months that I've seen. I know there's a lot going on in the Federation and a lot going on in AEW, but to me, Toni Storm's locked in.
She has. So let me ask you this, though.
Yeah.
Does the belt mean anything to Toni right now? And I don't mean to her personally. Could she have done this sans belt? Because I think they might have, and I'm agreeing with you. I'm just stirring the pot as I like to do. How about we get the surprise that the Megasis is the new champ, and Toni can still run? Maybe Mariah caused an interference or something, because I still don't think that's over whatsoever, and I hope it isn't.
God, no. There's no way that's over with.
Mariah is, get ready for this, because everybody's going to hate me. Mariah and Toni are Flair Steamboat for me right now. That could run 100 times, and I'd be all right with it.
Well, every single match has been a classic.
Yeah.
Out of those two.
And I don't think title needs to be involved anymore.
Yeah, I won't go. I agree with that. Title does not be involved anymore. I'll go in terms of AEW right now because they've had a short life. You brought up Flair Steamboat. I kind of agree with that analogy, but I'm going to take it to AEW history. If maybe you've lived under a rock or only know AEW history, it's the Swerve and Hangman of the women's division, and it will continue to be going forward. Like that, to AEW's history, that is the most important rivalry is Hangman and Swerve. This is the second important rivalry because they have perpetuated, there's a hatred there, but there was a bunch of story behind it beforehand.
There's still love there though, too.
And there's still love there. 100%. There's still love on the Hangman and Swerve side now that we're seeing that too.
Yeah. Yeah, or they could maybe come together.
I'm starting, not transition, but I'm starting to think they're going to become tag champs at some point. And here's because Swerve saying I know during that heated exchange last week.
Yeah.
And Hangman's been pursuing them, kind of been around them. It's been a whole thing. There's a forgiveness factor happening here that's going to lead them to be,
for a brief
moment, coexisting.
Which I want to go off so much more off of that. We'll bounce, because one of them actually is one of my predictions this year of maybe you're right. Maybe they are the next tag team champions.
Yeah.
But then there's going to be a tag team that's going to rekindle and get that championship one time this year. And they'll take a 5-second photo for you.
It's not FTR, though?
It's not FTR. It's not FTR. And I'm happy. Shit, we're just going to keep throwing shit like this and going.
We're just running. Yeah.
We'll get to WWE apparently. I love that FTR just beat the shit out of Cope, Edge, whatever you want to call them. I love that FTR isn't riding off into the sunset and they're going to be the bastards that they've probably needed to be for a couple years.
Well, they've gotten stale. Like, I love FTR, but they've gotten stale. So them saying, okay, fuck Cope, let's put him in the ground right now. So to your point, this helps build your case because we saw Nick Wayne and, what's his name? Kip Sabian.
Yep.
Kind of like throw Christian to the
distance.
Yeah, they're trying to distance themselves. So Christian coming with Cope at some point to face FTR, maybe at All In. This could be a whole big scenario and it could play right into your hand.
Yeah. I know they're coming together at least.
Yeah.
Maybe the tag titles, that's a stretch, but it's the writings on the wall.
100%.
Cope doesn't have any friends right now.
He's got no friends. Christian thinks he has a family, but whenever he comes back, he's not going to have anything.
Nope. Not at all.
So.
I'll transition for a hot minute.
Let's do it.
To WWE.
Do it.
And Cena's bad. Cena's bad, and this is, for me, probably the greatest Cena I've seen in a long time. That fat little kid, and I love the kid. I'm sorry. Fat. You're me when I was that age. So I don't mean it mean. Don't throw me under the bus. But that's the first thing that came to my mind. Is me. That meme that you see of that kid that just got decimated. I hope he was a plant. I really do.
They're playing it off like he wasn't, though.
I know. But they can spin it however they want.
Yeah, that's true.
I love heel Cena. We've wanted it for so long, but I didn't know if it was going to get this far.
Yeah, I didn't see him calling out little kids and tell them basically, fuck yourself at this point. But heel Cena, I will say, has been one of the better developments I've seen because he didn't change who he was. He just came out, same music, same clothing, same everything. It was just like, no, you fuckers turned on me.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. I'm still the same guy. That, to me, is primo character writing at that point. Like, you have basically just said, I don't need to change a fucking thing. I'm the same person. You booed me when I was good. You're going to boo me when I'm bad. So deal with it.
So, is it, because I've seen this through the last couple weeks, is it on the same level of Hogan joining the NWO, or can't we compare?
I don't think we can compare yet, because we don't know what this Rock faction is. We'll find out.
There's a faction coming, huh?
There's 100% a faction coming. I mean, the writing's on the wall.
Or a tie.
There's the 3, yeah, exactly. There's the 3, the 2, there's a 1. Whoever that piece of the faction is, the one to join them.
Predictions next week.
That's going to seal this into whether, but then the story after that is what pushes it into maybe NWO territory. Maybe it's the same as Hogan. we're too young in this heel turn to understand what this is. But let me ask you this question to throw it back at you. Has a disservice been done to prevent this getting into Hogan territory, in the sense that we know this is a very limited time offer of a heel turn?
I think it leads to answer yes to your question briefly. But I think it leads to a huge SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be a mega fast faction that's going to take wrestling by storm for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
We need to love Cena in December when he rides off into the sunset.
Right. Well, they have a whole pay-per-view dedicated to him in December.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But we need to love him going into that pay-per-view so we can cry that he lost his last match or he did something. He needs to be built back up for that. It's not going to happen there. So I think SummerSlam, and again, no predictions, I just think there's going to be a lot of headbutting between the leader and John Cena. Figure that out as you may. The writing's on the wall. You're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
100%. Yeah, that's 100%, because they were never meant to coexist with each other. They were each generation's, whatever you want to call them.
It's Rock Hogan.
Yeah, it's Rock Hogan. It was just Cena Rock. It's the progression. And you had Roman Cena. Like, that's the progression of the Supermen that have dealt with it. You buy SummerSlam, they could be burning it all down, or they could be more pushing towards a War Games that really burns it down. We'll see what happens with it.
Yeah. I'm excited, though. I know we haven't spoken to you guys in a while, but where it's at right now, it has just been both companies have been on fire. I really think so.
I'm glad you said that, because I think there's a lot of hate that comes into AEW, and I'm not seeing it because I think they're hitting their stride. They've actually improved their storylines. They have more going on. There's a lot of good things happening.
The smaller arenas have helped them noise crowd-wise immensely.
100%. In the arenas, even when they're like a theater style, have been even better, helping a lot. I mean, you can hear them slapping Ricochet's head and calling him bald even better in those arenas.
Right.
Where do you want to go?
Next. No.
You want to go? I got to go. Okay, we talked about Cena. We talked about the heel turn. So we know it's Cody. We know that. We've got to talk about Roman, Punk, Rollins, Heyman, because this is essentially, I'm calling it a fatal four-way at this point, because Heyman's in Punk's corner, but he's also now
been pulled.
The favor's been pulled. He's in Punk's corner, but now he's also owing Rollins a favor because Rollins instead stomped his head in this past week.
Well, we at the bachelor party, 5 or 6 of us kind of discussed this. And it was briefly because it wasn't about wrestling. It was about us being idiots and yada, yada, yada. The more on my way home, that discussion came to mind. And then Raw happened. And I'm like, I'll throw this out because it's a discussion that's out there. And everybody's got one. There's not a prediction yet. We'll stick with that 75 times today. I think Heyman going with Paul, when we discussed it on Saturday, thought it was Newton discovering whatever Newton discovered. We're like, oh my God, it's going to be Heyman going with Seth.
Yeah.
I said Heyman going with Paul, by the way.
Yeah, I know what you said. Yeah, I was letting it go.
Heyman going with Seth. That's way too obvious now. It's way too obvious. I'll pull back everything I said last week at the bachelor party, and I don't think it's going to be. I think now in my brain, there's something else coming out of all of this. It's too easy to go with Seth, right?
I think it is, but it's also would make a lot of sense. I think night one's main event
Which,
is
by the
more...
way, so many people were promised a main event at WrestleMania that ain't getting it. We can talk about that next, too.
We'll talk about that next, yeah. But night one's main event, which is Punk Roman Seth, is going to have implications on night two's main event of Cena and Rhodes. Whatever that is. And Paul Heyman's the trigger for all of that. Whatever happens with Paul Heyman in night one will impact night two.
Agreed.
That's not a spoiler.
That's a promise.
Guarantee.
Yeah.
Right? Or that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler or something like whatever the phrase is. But it's building up so much. That night one main event has so many layers to it just with the three involved. But then you times that by 10 based off of what's going on with Brock, what's happening. Heyman's involved. Now he owes everybody a favor. Heyman has put himself into a corner. Roman doesn't know what to do with this anymore. I mean, Heyman literally cried.
He did.
Friday night on SmackDown because he couldn't say no to Punk.
Because they've been besties since ever.
And I love that this clip came up because I forgot about it. Somebody resurfaced a clip where Paul Heyman said one day he will be in Punk's corner at WrestleMania. And now this has come full circle from 10 years ago in 2013.
Yeah. The Authority. Let's leave it at that. That's going to be my prediction.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be rekindled next week that we'll talk more about.
Yep. And we'll bitch about it probably somehow. But
yeah. Main event. You win a Royal Rumble, you get a title shot main event. So Jay is out the picture.
Yeah.
And this is going to lead to so much more. Charlotte's out of the picture. Who else? Who won the other one?
No,
well,
you said
if you win
Jay and
Chamber, you don't become a main eventer at WrestleMania.
Right.
But normally Rumble over the last couple of years, and I know they have their own triggers to do whatever.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, even Chamber doesn't guarantee you your own solo match against the champion.
No. Because Bianca wins it.
And Rhea can just walk in and say,
back in.
Yeah. Listen, just give me Rhea, Bianca. I'm cool with that because, okay, this was your two biggest stars of the new generation, right? But then you pull Io in here to make it unpredictable, but then Rhea just gets another title shot. I love Io's in this picture, but Rhea should not be involved.
Right.
If Rhea lost, she's out.
Yeah. I agree. 100%. Does Rhea need to be, get ready for this is going to piss a lot of people off. Is Rhea the new Charlotte that she just gets to walk in and call her title shots? And we'll get to Charlotte here in a minute, too.
Well, we got a lot to get to Charlotte on. Charlotte, Tiffy, all that. Fuck.
More came out today.
Yeah. Okay. Well, she's getting close. I will say, though, if you want to set up Bianca and Rhea at 42, just set it up in a more original fashion.
Yeah.
If you have Rhea and Bianca face each other for the title shot in, let's say, double disqualification, no contest, whatever happens, okay, I'm going to buy that as the triple threat. But the fact that Rhea gets a title shot, doesn't win again, but hey, guess what? She's still in the title picture somehow because she signed her name on a contract that she wasn't even part of. Does not make sense. Does not compute to me.
Well, and then they're like, okay, we're going to throw this contract out. We're going to do this last stuff over the last couple of weeks, yada, yada, yada. That ends with Pierce just saying, fuck it. I'll make it a triple threat.
Yeah.
I believe more if Rhea just signs a contract and throws it at Pierce and says, I'm the next champ, I call my damn shots, da-da-da-da-da. Instead of the horse and pony show that we saw in the last couple weeks of special referee involvement, da-da-da-da-da, yeah. When we knew we were going right back to that.
Yeah.
You can use just promos sometime to carry
the story.
Everything. Yeah.
Just say Rhea's like, I'm owed a rematch. Oh, okay. She wants to enter herself in triple threat at WrestleMania. We need to do the title match. Let it happen.
Or have her prove, hey, you have to beat, and I'm going to say Jade, but she wouldn't be involved in this picture. You have to beat Candice LeRae and Nat, or da-da-da. You have to beat some notable people to get back on the pecking order.
Run the gauntlet. Beat 5 women. Get back in the match.
We'll throw you right in there then. You're the number 2 contender. Because you can't be number 1. Because Bianca won that number 1 contendership at Elimination Chamber.
100%. Bianca earned her spot at Chamber. Io beat you to earn her spot in Rumble, in WrestleMania. No matter what you think happened, she still beat you.
Right.
So you're out. Earn your fucking way back into the title picture, and we're fine.
Could they have done a WrestleMania without a Rhea match? I'm not saying not an appearance or anything, without a Rhea match.
I don't think so, because you've booked Rhea to be the dominant Raw woman, so she has to be there in some capacity. To me, the only reason they're doing this triple threat is to set up Rhea and Bianca for next year's WrestleMania. And Io's there to take the fall, which is bullshit because Io is now at her second straight WrestleMania coming in as champion and should be defending the title and has proven herself to carry the championship. Let her run with it.
Again, stirring the pot for next week. This is why we want you to come back next week when we're in full tilt. Can Io walk out of WrestleMania?
I think there's a path. Because I'll tell you what, seeing all the shenanigans and the disrespect, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility she's leaving WrestleMania with the title.
I think it builds more to next year's Rhea Bianca match if she leaves with the title.
Mm-hmm. Because they fuck each other over, and then she walks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who does it hurt to take the loss? And these, I don't want you to answer that. Who does it?
No.
They don't know. I agree. They don't know yet.
They don't know. Maybe it doesn't hurt anybody. And if that's the case, we've established 3 women stars versus just 2.
Yep. Rhea's your star. Bianca's your PR star. And this is not hate at anybody, but Bianca's your PR star. Kentucky Derby, baseball games, this, that, the other. She's got it going on. Io's your wrestler.
Yeah.
Which some people think that's more important than star or PR star.
Yeah. But I'm also going to throw this out at you. We have limited time with 2 of those 3.
Yeah.
Because 2 of those 3 are a lot older than the other one.
And getting into more.
Exactly. So there's limited time there to appreciate what they bring to the table.
Yep. Speaking of limited time, will go to Charlotte Flair and Tiffy in everything that's happened over the last essentially month of promos.
Yeah.
They started bad. I don't know if you can say they ended worse, but the worseness, not a real word, extended the story that people were like, maybe we're excited to see this now because the writing's on the wall. Yeah. As soon as Charlotte won, the writing's on the wall. Boom. With number 400 that she wins for 2 weeks, whatever.
Right.
So it was stale. Until both of them, one of them, and again both of them went off script. One's dressing by herself away from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
One has been called out saying, you're the one that fucked it up the most, Charlotte.
Yep.
It's now somewhat intriguing, at least, right?
Mm-hmm. It's more intriguing, at least. I think it's also... Everybody was, like, all up in arms, and, like, last week, Tiffy went off script, and then that was, like, the focus of everything. When Charlotte did the week before and all that, I saw it as Tiffy defended herself and said, hey, you fucked me over in this promo. Old school mentality is, I'm going to do it right back to you. And I'm going to do it in front of a live crowd. So I tried, but I'm going to up the ante when I do it. I have no problem with what Tiffy did last week. Because I think it did escalate this thing to finally being like, oh, we got some real hatred happening here. Let's actually watch this feud. This isn't just Charlotte's walking in, getting her 16th title reign and walking out. This is, oh, we got some shit behind this, and they're going to probably throw some stiff shots at each other when the time comes to duel.
Yeah. I agree. And I'm on, of the clickbait out there, I'm on the side that Charlotte can't let it go. That she's slowly, she didn't break the record. She owns the record, essentially, because I don't know if she's going to break the record now after next week. But I don't think Charlotte can let it go of some of this stuff. Like, yeah, Tiffy came out with you're 0 for 3 in marriages. That hurts. Trust me, it hurts.
Yeah.
But Charlotte had to get the Kaiser thing in.
Mm-hmm. And then she doubled down on it yesterday where she said, I have to address the rumors, and then it was some other bullshit that she addressed. So she doubled down on it.
Yeah. I'm not knocking her for what she does in the ring, what she does for professional wrestling. I just think she realizes the horsewomen are riding away.
The horsewomen.
She doesn't want to ride away like her dad.
Mm-hmm. The horsewomen have gone their separate ways.
Right.
They're gone. I think for her as well, it's not even, she doesn't want to go the way of her dad. Actually, I'm going to back up and say it. She's going down the path of her father where the ego is winning. Yeah. You got called out. You stepped over the line in a promo the week before, going off script. Tiffy didn't realize what you were doing. She continuously kept with the script that she had. The following week, Tiffy decides, you know what? Eye for an eye. I'm going to go old school. Here you go. I'm going to sidetrack you. Tie it back. Charlotte couldn't let it go, made the Kaiser comment, doubled down on it. Charlotte has just let the ego win that she's better than everybody in the locker room. She's going to dress in separate locker rooms, according to reports. To your point, the ego has inflated her head so much that she's not seeing clearly.
And she's supposed to be facing this, right?
Yeah.
It's done. ruined.
It's been ruined, I think, since she went off script. She just can't help herself.
No. She wants to be. Tiffy was supposed to be number one heel. It's been out there. Wrestling Observer put it out. Like everybody, like this was Tiffy's path to be vicious or be mean, to kind of still be that, clueless brat. You remember the movie Clueless?
Yeah.
That clueless brat. Everybody's always loved Tiffy. We could have gotten her there to be a what was her name in it? She was Alicia Silverstone who played the part.
Yeah.
But we were getting her there. Now she's fucking Ally McBeal that everybody loves. Reference.
But love the 90s TV shows and movies references. I will always say this. Charlotte can never be a face.
No.
She has never in her life been a face. When they've tried to make her a face, she's always the heel. That's why they
want her to be also.
They don't. They want her to be a heel. Ric Flair was a heel majority of his career.
Yeah.
There was times where he was face, but everybody's like, get me back real. The heel Ric Flair.
Yep.
I want the real Rick. Flair, if you have Flair in your name, you're a fucking heel. That's just how you're bred and how you move forward.
Dirtiest player in the game.
Exactly. And the apple did not fall far from the tree with Charlotte. Tiffy can be the young upstart who has taken the world by storm, babyface. In this scenario, you can play the clueless game with Tiffy as a face, but you have to always steer into Charlotte will always be a heel, no matter injury, no matter time away, no matter if 0-3 in divorces or how you want to go.
It's her comeback story.
It's her comeback story. We could care less because you've left so many times before without an injury and come back.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Consequences of our actions. And here we go.
Question for next week. When it happens, how many boos are we going to hear?
All of them.
I believe so.
I don't even have to wait a week. And I'm not going.
I don't think they pull the trigger on this.
I think they're second guessing it.
I think they need to reshuffle if they are. Whatever happened last night, as you guys on SmackDown.
Yes, I truly believe they're rethinking it, and they have to be rethinking it. Like, this is not a good idea.
Not this time. Not from Tiffy.
No. I'll be honest. I think they hurt. I think it hurts Tiffy if she loses. And honestly, as we're recording, you guys know I'm on X and all of that. Charlotte attacked Tiffy in the parking lot. So, there you go.
Doubling down with the heel.
Exactly.
So we spoke about the horsewomen. We'll shift over to AEW horsewoman, Mercedes. Okay.
Yeah.
She got 95 belts she's parading around with, and I'm alright that she has those. I don't want Tony Mercedes. I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't want her in the Owen. I think her beating our girl Julia hurt Julia.
Mm-hmm.
How about, when was the last time we've seen a double DQ? Whoever wins the next match moves on instantly.
Yeah.
Why can't we do something like that? This way it doesn't hurt. Or a time limit or something. You're not going to hurt Mercedes right now. If Julia gets a roll-up, even if it was a roll-up, don't make Mercedes tap. That might put a little ding in, a little red flag. Surprise roll-up. Julia's known for those. It's her thing. Boom, she gets a surprise roll-up. We're going to roll in that Mercedes wins the Owen, so she got another title to carry with her, I mean. And it's going to end up her against Tony. and then she's going to get one more, and then essentially just what she's done for the TBS title, I'm always backtracking, has been great. At the beginning of it, I hated it. But now, it's worn on me, it's got me there, it's cool. She has taken it all over, I love it. More than the very first person to ever have it, do anything with. That's what they're trying to erase from your memory, that Jade never had the title.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think she needs them all. I'm not a fan of belt collectors.
No, I think the act is getting very stale, very quickly, lack of better term. And they're setting up for for people to fall to Mercedes that I think it's just actually the worst decision they could say. You mentioned Julia.
Next one's really going to hurt.
Next one's really going to hurt because it's Athena. Athena should not be falling anywhere close. Athena should be beating her. But she's going to lose. And then we're going to say Mercedes versus probably Statlander. And she's going to beat Stat for the third time. And that's it.
Crippling Stat once again.
100%. So what was the point of this tournament? Just put Mercedes over for another fifth time? As every other organization has bent to her will since then? Absurd.
Why is your TBS champion in this? Can't the TBS champion essentially get a title shot after like 4 or 5 defenses anyway? Isn't
I
it
would think so.
Rule or something like that?
To me, I think you should be able to just turn the mid-card title in if you want a world title shot at some point. Like, if you get 4 to 5 defenses, turn the title in and see if you can get a world title shot.
Plus, you have 4 other titles you're carrying around.
100%.
So it makes you noteworthy.
Yes, exactly. So is she just going to turn that title over when she wins the World AEW Women's title? Apparently. I don't like it because Mercedes is just being booked to be basically Hogan at this point, Hogan Monet.
Yeah.
And I know it gets overused.
By the way, but I understand it. Yeah.
Yeah.
In wrestling terms. I don't think she's ever Hogan-esque, but...
No, yeah. In the sense of wrestling terms.
Yeah.
That's what I meant by that. Because we're just putting her over to put her over, for God's sakes. At this point, it's just... There's no need for it. I hope...
For her right now, that's why.
Well, that's true. And they know she needs to be in the world title picture, and they just don't know how to get it off of her. I know how to get it off of her. Put her in Stat in the ring again without the Owen tournament, and let him go for the TBS title. And there she win. Maybe they'll shock us. Maybe they're going to shock us with Stat beating her and going on to face Toni Storm at All In. I doubt it.
I do too, because the way Stat has been booked, Stat's always available for a title shot. Let me first say that. She's always available for a title shot. She's deserving. But recently, again, maybe this tournament is because of that. She can get the win over Mercedes to get to Tony.
Yeah. But I don't see that being the fact. It's like, I mean, it's just nothing is screaming that that's going to be the case.
No. And I'm not... Normally we're all up in arms about the women's Owen tournament. From Willow to, Britt to all of it. We're like, yeah, this is Mariah last year.
Yeah.
This one's just, here's your winner and here's who's going to lose.
Exactly.
And you're right. I think Athena is going to be a bigger pill to swallow.
Athena being sacrificed for Mercedes, just absolutely ridiculous. Your longest reigning ROH women's world champion getting sacrificed.
You're still trying to get on TV.
Exactly. You sacrifice her to Mercedes. At least if you're going to do it, flip the bracket, put her on... Exactly.
Yep. Ugh.
Ugh.
Ugh. All right, I took a lot of them. Go ahead and give me one.
I might as well talk about the men's. I mean, that one's Ospreay Fletcher at this point. Unless Takeshita beats Ospreay.
Which I don't think. Because
I don't either.
I think that title is being around Bro's waist by the end of the year.
Yeah, 100%. So I think Ospreay is going to be your tourney winner in that one.
Yeah.
There's nobody knocking him off. Unless I get surprised by Hangman, but they didn't let Swerve win on Sunday, so why would they put Hangman in that position?
They're building up a tag match that Hangman's going to need to be out of this picture.
Right. I think it's going to be Ospreay Hangman in the finals. I don't think they revisit Fletcher and Ospreay again.
Till the title's on him?
Till the title's on him.
But I think there's a match prior to that. I think Ospreay Fletcher's ways down the line.
Well, so Ospreay's already qualified. You have Brody King Takeshita, so whoever wins that one faces Ospreay. Then you have Fletcher who already beat Briscoe, and then Hangman's got to face a wild card. So whoever wins in Hangman in the wild card faces Fletcher. We're already in the semis. So there's, I'll call it now, Ospreay, Takeshita, Fletcher, Hangman. Because I don't think the wild card is anybody but Jeff Jarrett at this point.
Right. To put a little ribbon on that.
Ribbon that, yeah. So I'm going to say it's Ospreay, Hangman. That brings Dynasty full circle from what happened in it. In the sense of, hey, Hangman entered himself in the main event. He got beat down by the Death Riders, but also hit Mox with the Dead Eye. So then that kind of brings it back. Ospreay, that was Hangman. Ospreay passing ships in the wind in the night.
Every week.
Ospreay's needs to happen. This is supposed to be their biggest show. It's the possibilities there. So I think that's your two likely scenarios in Double or Nothing. Ospreay Hangman is going to be a hell of a match no matter what.
Right.
So whoever gets that, we'll see what happens. But that's where my head goes with that.
I like it. Now that I've sat and thought, I like it at least. But all right, one more AEW. We'll do one more. We'll take a break because we're about an hour into this segment. But this is going to be an easy one. AEW is getting rid of a title.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Seems like it.
And I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it too. I mean, you have a Continental and you have an International title, which are basically the same title.
Which Penta wants them both on WWE, by the way.
Right. He does.
It's just that a couple weeks ago.
He wants to be Mercedes. He just wants to be a belt collector at that point.
He wants to be the Continental Champion in WWE.
Yeah, I know. So, we knew when Okada came in, is that last year? God, it's been a long year if it has been. Yeah, it has been.
Year and a half.
Yeah. We knew when Okada came in, the writing was on the wall for Omega Okada. It was just waiting for Kenny to be healthy again.
Yeah.
And then I think at one point we had said All In is probably Omega Okada for the Continental title. Looks like it's going to be for both. So
the merger
of the two. Here we go.
Is it a ladder match?
Oh, that would be nice.
Which AEW, they have ladders around all the time, but they don't really do a lot of specialty matches, yet they do a lot of specialty. You know what I mean? Like, the normal specialty match. There's always a ladder match. They've gotten rid of the donut on the fucking pole match. Yeah.
The brass ring match.
Yeah, they've gotten rid of that. We haven't had something noteworthy that I remember. That's why I'm saying this would be the perfect WrestleMania 10 Razor Shawn a la match with those two.
Do you think they pull that trigger with Kenny, or do they say, let's keep you out of the most high-risk matches?
What I'm worried about. I want that match. That's what
I would love that match, but yeah.
I don't think. It might be like a 2 out of 3 falls match or something like that. I think there's going to be besides both titles on the line, I think there's going to be a stipulation.
Yes.
Essentially. That you have to win that Continental Classic in 605, but Kenny wins them both in 604. You know?
Yeah.
But then, are we handcuffed with them doing such a quick match? Because we want it to be an hour fucking barn burner match. It steals, again, I'll go to Savage and Steamboat, WrestleMania 3. It's something that just steals the show from the mid-card. But it's not a mid-card match.
No, and I'm going to say it's going to go the exact opposite. This is going to be an hour-long Iron Man match because, to your point, maybe they make it quick, you have to win it in 20, like the Continental Classic. Or maybe they decide there's enough history here.
There is.
We got to go an hour because they've gone an hour before. So, however many falls, we get overtime, we get sudden death. We may get Shawn and Brett at WrestleMania 12 where nobody gets a fall in the first 60 minutes and we got to go an extra 10 to get a fall. Right? I think that more or less happens here. They're going to play big into what the 7-star classics were between these two in the past and lean on that heavier here.
And I hope so. Because if it's both of those, and I say both, last hoorah with each other, I think it needs to be probably the chef's kiss on everything they've ever done.
I would not be surprised if this is Kenny's last year as a competitor.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. I think he's still in and around wrestling.
He's still in and around wrestling, but as a competitor, this is his last year. I mean, diverticulitis.
See it a little bit. I hate to say that.
You can see it a little bit. The matches he's selecting, it's Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Ricochet. Oh, that'd be a great triple threat to go out on, right? He's picking and choosing those classics to go out on. Don't be surprised if Ospreay Omega's at Full Gear. Or World's End.
I was thinking World's End.
Yeah. Or it's even Takeshita Omega at World's End, because then Takeshita can put the final nail in the coffin at that point.
And Bro already has.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll dive into more things that we want to talk about that's happened over a lot of it's been recent, but we'll go back. We'll go back and touch on some of the things that we're like, what the fuck? Why did that happen? Here as we dive into segment 3. Jenks, you have more stuff burning because I can see the smoke just coming out.
Burning, ready to go. Let's make it happen.
What's up, guys? This is Jared Fritz, official for the NWA, and you're getting Ref Fit with the Can Crushers Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. We're back. Segment 3. Picking back up on State of the Union, hot topics.
Whatever the hell we're calling it.
Whatever we're calling it. We mentioned them earlier. Let's go back to it now. The Royal Rumble winner, Jey Uso, and Gunther, it didn't really pick up until Jimmy got sacrificed. Yesterday, yeah. And then Yeet seems to have kind of ruined any semblance of a emotional promo coming out of Jey.
Yeah, I was excited when you were wearing your glasses. I'm like, okay, we could roll with something here. And then it was, okay, this is just a match that we're going to have on WrestleMania. Here it is. I don't know. Again, not ruining predictions. Got to make sure I say it in this segment. I don't know. I don't know, as of right now, who I want or care to win this.
Yeah, I think until last week, this had not escalated to a WrestleMania match.
No. Saturday
There's
Night
nothing.
Event, maybe.
Yeah. And so I'm sitting here like, make me care. Jimmy bloodied in the middle of the ring makes me care, but it's also like, do I really want Jay to win the world title off of this kind of build up, or do I just want Gunther to kind of put him in the ground and be done with it? Type of thing. I almost feel like Gunther needs this more than Jay does.
Yes. And I'm thinking Jay wins this. We're going to go back to last year's WrestleMania to have a brother versus brother for the title match because he sacrificed himself for Jay in this whole thing. And unless they were saving it for something special, that ended up being one of the worst matches of the year across the board in professional wrestling. Nobody wanted to see it. And if you only are saving part 2, then I know they're on pseudo good terms.
Right.
Right? Pseudo.
Yep.
Just to get this a year later? Oh, it's long-term rough storytelling that I don't know if we want or we want.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to say this for WWE overall. It's like for the WrestleMania build, they invested everything into Punk, Seth, Roman, and then everything else was kind of like, here's a match.
Yeah. Even Cody Cena has been, you're getting it.
Exactly. Well, they waited 4 weeks, whatever it was, for Cena and Cody to actually talk to each other in the ring. And then it ended with Cody calling Cena a dick and hitting him with a crossroads.
Yeah.
It was a great promo, don't get me wrong. But it still was like, what else?
By the way, he just gave me the Rock's eye. He looked really close into the camera and gave me the Rock's eye.
Yeah. But it just, the meat is not flowing with a lot of these matches. It's not there.
All right, well, I'll piggyback another one. And everybody's going to be like, oh, it's going to be her big win at WrestleMania. Jade Naomi. Which is another one that is very much being pushed in her face.
Yeah.
That we know. Mm-hmm. Okay. Naomi just needs to get squashed there? Is that what's really going to happen? Is this going to be one of the fastest WrestleMania match? I know, their Uncle Elmer and whatever in WrestleMania 2 was like 9 seconds or whatever the hell when it was, but you have to do Jade right when she battles Bianca. It's something because it's happening, right?
Yeah.
She's completely by herself now.
Yeah.
You can't let Naomi get much in. You fucking killed her in the Elimination Chamber. Literally killed her.
And that's what makes me afraid that they are going to let Naomi get much in because they had killed her at Elimination Chamber, so Naomi needs to get her 50-50 piece of this now, right? So she's going to dominate Jade at WrestleMania. I'm in agreement with you. This needs to be 9 seconds flat, or Jade needs to get disqualified because she's just laying waste.
I want that.
Yeah.
If you have 4 referees trying to pull Jade off, just sending Naomi on her way again, okay, now you got my eye, Jade. It's a 10-minute match of just her doing suplexes like a Brock Lesnar match. I don't want that.
No. I want 10 seconds or an ass whipping.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we need.
One or the other. And all of it can be done within 5 minutes.
Exactly.
And it'll tell more. I don't think we're getting that, though.
We're not, because they're going to extend it out. They're going to beat this, play the game of, it's got to be Naomi. Naomi's a crafty veteran. She's going to get around this. She's going to do this. Naomi has not gotten the upper hand on Jade besides the original attack.
Nor should she.
Exactly. You're telling me Jade's the Storm. Jade is this big, powerful entity. Let Jade dominate Naomi and prove it. No suplexes, no nothing. 10 seconds, eliminate it, be done with it.
Which essentially, for me, to route this back around to you, I think Gunther should do the same thing to Jay.
I agree.
Max just barked in the other room saying he agrees too.
Gunther
It's a great story for Jay. It is. I don't know, man. Now that your yeet glasses are off and you're looking through normal vision, I hate to say this. Get ready for the hate that we haven't had in a while. Is Jey Uso really main event, or do we just love his shit?
We just love his shit.
We love Drake's, or whatever the hell his name is, LA Knight's shit too. We found out he's not main event.
No. Think of it this way. We've had people that are main event because we love their shit. We've had people that are main event because somebody tells us that we should love their shit. And we have main event because we love their shit. Right? And it's somebody tells us their main event where you have Cena, you have Roman, you have Hogan, you have Rock, whatever you want to call it. But there's a level of talent there that can be masked, or they step up at certain intervals, certain matches where they go off the rails. And I know a lot of people yelling, "Oh, what do you mean? Rock has had classics." Rock has had great dance partners and benefited from the Attitude Era a lot.
Yep.
And he's had those partners so he could step up. Cena, the same thing, from Umaga to Orton to HBK to Triple H to Daniel Bryan to Brock. I'm going to throw Brock in there. Brock Lesnar to. There's been a lot of great dance partners to help Cena get through that.
Bray
Wyatt. Hogan, same thing. Macho Man. Orndorff. Bundy. You have, list goes on and on. You know, even Andre at the tail end of his career was a spectacle match, but it carried Hogan through. Warrior, somehow that match turned into one of the best matches in WrestleMania history. Somehow, between those two guys. Right? Because the chemistry it should have never been. Roman, pick an opponent. Kevin Owens, Logan Paul.
Back around to him.
You could pull in LA Knight. You could pull in whoever you want. Roman is title reign defined by great people that helped elevate him. Jey Uso hasn't had that moment or that match yet.
Nope.
There's been nothing there to kind of push him forward. Even a match against his brother turned out to be the worst match in WrestleMania history. There isn't, and I don't know if it's great dance partners or it's just Jey Uso isn't where it needs to be. It's just popular. The litmus test for Gunther at WrestleMania is if he can elevate Jey to something beyond whatever they've done in the past. Can you elevate Jey up so much that people believe he's main event?
He's beaten, because when you think of Gunther still, you think of the 666 streak. You think of everything he did in NXT UK. He is still the Colossus right now in WWE.
And he has to win.
He does. I know he takes a loss a year, essentially, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the one.
I don't think it can be. It goes back to my point earlier. Gunther needs this win more than Jey Uso. Because Gunther's title reign has not felt like a world title reign.
No. His best dance partner has been Priest so far.
Yeah. And that was early on.
Yep. I want a Gunther Punk. A Gunther Rollins.
Yes. Gunther, shit, give me Dragunov when he gets back. Gunther, you pick it, it happens. Gunther is the ring general. We know he's talented. He just needs the right dance partners, and maybe the right dance partners are not in the main event picture right now.
I think if we're booking this right now, Gunther's right dance partner, be prepared. Shit has happened in a couple months. Needs to drop the IC title.
Yeah. 100%.
Because then you have a freight train against the stone wall. I want to see either the Kool-Aid man coming through the stone wall or the freight train on Looney Tunes just fucking piling up all the cards in the back.
Irresistible Force versus the Immovable Object 2.0.
Yep.
And if you don't think Braun is worthwhile of that or has the talent for that, you are sadly mistaken. You haven't watched a fucking thing. He's talented. That's spear on Carlito.
He jumped from the foul line like Michael Jordan, and he drilled him 5 feet away. And then lands essentially not on his feet, but pseudo enough that he bounced up so damn quick, he could have landed on his feet.
Yeah.
That's the greatest spear I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god. It made it look like a spear actually hurts.
Right.
Yeah. That Braun Breaker has just done he's ready. He's ready. He's what Brock Lesnar was to be back in the day. That's what he is.
I want to talk WrestleMania so much. I really do.
I know. It's a week away.
I know. It's next week. We'll get there. Yeah. Because I want to tell you how I want him out of the match. I've already told you that I want him to lose the title. So.
I already know. I already have my prediction for that match.
Yeah.
And it's probably the same person.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Without a doubt it is. We have not even talked about it. It didn't come up. But I just think, fuck it, I'll say it. He needs to run into the steel steps and take him out of the match.
Yeah.
So he's not involved in the match, the whole fucking match. Essentially. Because it doesn't hurt him then.
Yep. At some point, he gets taken out.
Yeah.
And he is no longer a factor.
Yeah. We forget. And it's early, though, that we forget that he was in the match until they say new Intercontinental Champion.
It has to be when he's doing the fucking lap around the ring, he's gearing up to fucking rail somebody, and it turns around and he's running into a table, he's running into a fucking stairs, he's running into King Kong who ain't got shit on him. Whatever he's gonna find, he's gonna run into it and be done for the match.
And then the Monday after Mania, he's like, alright, Gunther, let's go.
Let's go, or I'm gunning for you.
Yeah.
God forbid he gets the Money in the Bank briefcase, because if he gets Money in the Bank, good fucking luck, because it's going to be every week is must-see TV because you don't know when he's coming for that title.
Right. And in 2 seconds, because he runs 27 miles an hour, remember that.
Yeah.
He can take it from you.
Yep.
Thus, because Jay also only has one person built in, and it's his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Jay wins. That title's not on Jay long.
No.
Possibly the next pay-per-view.
I was going to say a month, 2 months, tops.
Yeah. This is just, hey, thanks for doing everything you've done over the last couple of years, title run.
You're very popular. Cool. You got the crowd heating.
You get a new shirt out with a title belt on it. We'll sell the shit out of those.
Monday after WrestleMania, when everybody's hype, lit, crunk, whatever you want to call it, they go and celebrate your victory, and then you're going to get your ass beat.
Yeah. It's not long. So if you're a Jay fan, which we all are Jay fans, everybody likes to eat. It's just not a title run that anybody really
wants or needs. Yeah. No.
I don't think, because everyone's like, well, Roman's there. I don't think Roman's going to be in that picture after WrestleMania.
Roman's got a lot of other things he's got to worry about after WrestleMania, and it's not the world title.
Yeah.
It's not the WWE title. It's not any of that.
No. Not for a while. What haven't we covered in WWE? What do you still have burning?
We got to talk Kevin Owens.
Oh, that's right. I said
we'll wrap back around. Let's wrap back around. KO goes out, reportedly has had the neck surgery. Sayonara, we aren't seeing you for years. And you know what? This builds Dominic Mysterio's argument that Ray is just a deadbeat dad and can't hold a shit. He's the one that injured Kevin.
He is.
You know, I can't argue this enough. Ray, I'm now against you. I don't know what to tell you. You've ruined WrestleMania. You son of a bitch. No, I'm just kidding. But really, that was the match that did it. So now...
I mean, it was no
fault.
No blame.
No blame.
It just shit happens.
Shit happens. KO was on borrowed time. But that also makes everything after that even more extreme for him because he wrestled with a broken neck through the ladder match, which, Jesus Christ, because he took that spot off the table through the ladder. Then we talk about the unsanctioned match with Sammy. Jesus. I'm pretty sure he would have went through WrestleMania with Orton and got punted if they allowed him.
If they allowed him, and they were like, this may be too far.
I think he wanted the punt to send him off for a year because I think that would have been the key for it all. We've solidified the punt is as deadly and dangerous as possible.
Yep.
And the wrestler in him wanted it, but there was no way to do it safely for his neck.
Right. Even with it being safe.
Yeah. Yep.
Just in case.
Yeah. We can't do that.
Which means as of recording, Randy's lingering. Stuff happened last week. Stuff has happened before.
We're coming back.
Dollars. Yada, yada, yada. We're both leaning back and forth from each other, by the way, as well, too, which makes a great video. I don't know if it hasn't been announced. You know, I know you're watching.
Nothing has been announced yet. I'm watching the social media. Nothing has been announced that say it's Nick versus Orton. Or maybe it has. Hold on.
But it's got to be. Nick's probably going to have some shit up his sleeve. He's been inactive, with my air quotes, for a long time.
He has been inactive, but let me read this quote that just popped up on my feed from SmackDown. That's live. You guys are watching it. You had watched it the night before. Randy Orton and Nick Aldis. If you don't deliver on a match to yours truly at WrestleMania, I can't promise I'm going to apologize to Mickie James after I do what I'm going to do if I don't get my match.
Okay.
You want to write a fucking story in a
week?
Note on the wall? In a week? Hey, he paid you ahead of time for that RKO last week, so...
Does this mean Mickey showing up?
I think so. Why wouldn't she? I mean, she's
Right.
pissing off people on Legends and whatever the hell that show is called. So,
Yeah.
although I will say Orton did get jumped by Solo and Tama, so.
So we're going to throw something horrible together.
Pretty much, yeah. And LA Knight came for the save, but anyways.
Speaking of people jumping each other, maybe in catering or something, Solo's in a little bit of a heat backstage because he yelled at a producer for getting something in catering.
Yeah.
Does this is something to go along with this storyline? Because does anybody care about that? But it had to have been published that Solo said this.
Yeah,
Solo had nothing going on.
Now it's perfect opportunity for him to have something going on. So maybe somebody released it to just say, hey, this gets you heat. This will get you to Randy, right?
Yeah. Nick says, hey, you pissed off somebody in catering. Let's just throw it together. I would rather have Randy not have a match. Not that I don't want Randy to have a match. But cause chaos?
Yeah.
Maybe Randy wants to go over to Raw?
Right.
Since now he has nothing going on for a while.
Right. Yeah.
How about he shows up and takes out Jay? Randy Gunther wouldn't be bad, huh?
We'll revisit that from last summer.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love that to happen because now you're just throwing shit at a wall and hoping it sticks because for some reason Solo and Jacob did not escalate to a WrestleMania match, nor did Jacob and Braun Strowman. They're just having a one-off, non-sanctioned fucking no disqualification match which could happen at WrestleMania in a week.
Yeah.
Right? I think they're just, for some reason, they just threw up their arms and said, well, I don't know what the fuck to do. Let me ask you this. How do you not have a contingency plan in place? You know Kevin Owens is hurt. I would think at some capacity, you know he's hurt. How do you not have something in place to say, if he doesn't make it to WrestleMania, what's our next logical step? Because
a legend like Randy Orton.
Exactly. The only logical step they had in play was Nick Aldis. So anything short of Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton,
nobody wants.
Unless it was Kevin Owens delivering on that match. Yep. But you didn't prepare Nick to get ring ready for that time, or you didn't have a contingency plan in place. And now we're gonna.
If Nick's not getting ready, I'll defend that to be the great guy.
But I'm going to say that maybe he's not ring ready for a match at WrestleMania, based off of you had Solo and Tama attack Randy out of nowhere, and then LA Knight comes in to get the save. We now have an impromptu fucking tag match that might happen. And I hate that for everybody involved.
I'm going to shift back to AEW because we have a new TNT champion. Baby.
Okay. Baby.
And I'm happy for him. But I don't know if it was against the right person. I think Danny just got smacked to the back of the fucking line again. And I'm more sad for Danny because of that. He's been build up. He had the reign. It wasn't a reign. It was a reign. I don't know if Adam was the one to do it.
I think Adam should have put him over. Adam Cole seems like he's in a position where he just needs to put people over to end the rivalry.
Yeah. Like, you just got your Undisputed Era back, essentially.
Yeah.
Run with that. I don't,
Get the trios title.
Yeah, establish your dominance as the Undisputed Era first.
Yeah.
Because they are on the bottom of the pecking order for me right now.
Oh, 100%. There's nothing that shows me that they're any threat or worth a damn at this point. Marina Shafir is higher in the pecking order than those three are right now. And that's by association.
Yeah. It was a quick blurb. But now that you brought up the whole Death Riders.
Let's go Death Riders.
Where are we going? Just a question, because I still don't know. Where are we going with this? Where's the... Because we haven't talked about Moxley getting fucking spiked and his back getting ripped apart and yada, yada, yada. Like, what in the hell? Where are we going with this, first off? And then maybe the Moxley thing first. Would you take the spot for $1 million?
If I had the mindset of Moxley, obviously.
Okay.
I don't have the mindset of Moxley, so no. Mox is a fucking sick fuck. I mean, I don't know how Renee just says, just come home. She just say, just come home at some point and just be like, good luck.
That spot, then I'll let you answer the main question. That spot reminded me of when Sabu got his arm just laced in the barbed wire and he had to tape himself up.
Yeah.
In that match. Like, I'm like, what are they going to do with Moxie? How are they going to put a body wrap around him so he doesn't fucking bleed all over the place the rest of this match? Like, real blood. Like, you make me bleed my own blood. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Michelle, get this. But it's like, I haven't grimaced in a pro wrestling match like that in a long time. And that is because the spikes pulling him out of his back, there's no way around that.
The pulling out hurt me more than the going in. Back.
Because he's done this, he's done it on a bed of nails before. He's landed on a bed of nails and he just comes off of it. So were these not shaved down nails? Where it was, these are fucking actual spiked nails where it just sticks?
Did the prop department fuck up? Yes.
Yes, 100% yes, because they didn't shave him down. And now they're tickling his lung when he tries to breathe because it's in his fucking back.
Yeah.
He's such a sick fuck.
He really is. He really, like, I think before he leaves, he wants to die in the ring and in one of those extreme light bulbs glass matches that he started in wrestling on.
I think he was hoping the exploding death match, or exploding barbed wire death match that he had was going to be a swan song for him.
Yeah. And
then it didn't go off, so now he's just fucked and he's got to have a career after that.
Where are the Death Riders going? What is the, where do we encapsulate this? Because I can't put my picture on I can't put my finger on the picture that we're trying to be built here.
I have no idea. Like, first I was like, okay, this is just something to get us to, like, Darby taking it off. And then you read about Darby climbing Mount Everest, and he still needs 3 months after he gets off Everest to get back into any shape whatsoever. So, like, that can't be fucking it, because that's taking him past All In.
Right.
So it's like, okay, the Death Riders just seem to show up, interfere in matches, the typical heel fashion. No real change. And when I think I have them figured out, and maybe Swerve's gonna swerve us and be fine, then you have the fucking Young Bucks come out of nowhere, show up, and then cost the title to Swerve this past Sunday. So now we're playing into the rumors that the Death Riders were originally a part of the Elite's plan to take over AEW, and then that never happened. I don't think there's a clear fucking path for whatever this team is.
I don't think so either. I truly think we're limping to Darby.
I think so too. And I also think they didn't anticipate Darby was going to be out
For a year.
here.
Climbing a fucking mountain.
So they're going to be like, okay, Ospreay's here. Let's put Hangman probably 2 months after that. And then let's throw whoever at that point. Because, I mean, MJF could be built up for that, but he's trying to join the Hurt Syndicate for some reason.
Like, I'm alright with him not being in and around the picture.
Right.
Of MJF.
Why
he's just playing music on the fucking jukebox right now, too.
Yeah. Like, why the Hurt Syndicate? Why are we pushing that narrative? That just doesn't seem to make sense. MJF Swerve would make sense.
Right.
And could work. But we're saving that. Why are we saving that? Who the fuck knows? But
we're saving a lot in AEW.
Yeah.
Like they are, like we said earlier in the show, we feel like they're piping it out. They are. There's a lot of shit going on in AEW. They're like, okay. As wrestling fans, as podcasters, and you guys listening and all this, we're putting lines together, but everybody has a match at All In. Mm-hmm. But everybody also has 6 matches at All In.
Yep.
Every line cannot cross. I know everybody's like, yeah, they possibly can. But there's MJF and Hurt Syndicate, and then throw Swerve in. How do we get there? Everything has a pinpoint, but we don't have a real direction. There's a dead end at one point saying, oh shit, we have way too much going on that we can't get to Omega and fucking Ospreay.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. The opposite problem of WWE.
Major.
We've played threads and threads and threads are there to pull whenever we need it. WWE is, you've got one thread, don't get injured. Right? So they've got opposite ends. And that's why I like AEW a lot, because, okay, somebody fucking gets injured, oh, we can pivot, let's pull this thread.
Yeah.
Let's pull that one. Doesn't make any fucking sense in the moment. In short term, it's like, why is MJF and the Hurt Syndicate trying to be in a program together? But there's threads upon threads that have been spread out where they can say, oh, that didn't work, let's pull this one. That didn't work, let's pull this one. I think that, I'm going to bring this full circle to the people that hate AEW. They hate AEW because short term you don't see why they're doing something. But then in the long term, when they pull the final trigger, you're like, that was the most brilliant thing I've ever seen.
Can I quote somebody?
Do it.
And it's not even the proper quote. Chaos creates controversy.
Yeah.
Bischoff.
Yep.
They have, and that's just why some people probably don't like AEW, with MJF and 6 storylines going. You don't know when you're going to get the final story of MJF Hangman, MJF Swerve, MJF Ospreay, everybody. You just don't know, not only from month to month on pay-per-views, from week to week, who he's crossing paths with.
Yeah.
So if you don't know that Days of Our Lives happened Roman killed Janae, and Janae was actually sleeping with Roman's brother, and I think these are some names that are on Days of Our Lives. I don't remember. But, there is just that spider web.
Yeah.
Which makes us all think, oh shit, we really don't know professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
We've said that about Tony. He's good at that. But sometimes there's just like 3 spider webs in one.
Yeah.
That he sometimes loses track too.
100%. I think to that point, though, that's why you saw the small attendance in the bigger arenas, because I don't think people were thinking of it in that context. They weren't thinking of the spider web theory. They weren't thinking of there's multiple strings to play here. They're thinking of it as, I'm accustomed to a very linear storyline path, and when I don't get that linear storyline path, I'm confused and I don't like it.
Yeah. It's not TikTok where it gives you results in 15 seconds.
Exactly. You need to sit down and hold on a bit and let it come to you.
The greatest match that you've ever seen is going to happen in a year and a half. You don't know you want it.
Yeah.
Or
you just don't know it's coming, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I want to go to, do you have anything wrestler or storyline related first?
No.
Okay, I want to go, to button this up a bit, the biggest deal has been made this upcoming Wednesday. AEW Dynamite passes WCW Nitro in terms of sports entertainment shows of all time.
Which is crazy for me to think of that, by the way.
It's crazy for me, too. It doesn't comprehend that...
AEW just happened yesterday, still in my head.
100%. It just happened 2019. It hasn't been 5 years. Like, it hasn't been 6 years or whatever it is. But it's coming up on that day, on that week time frame where, in that short amount of time, WCW had an 83-week run. They almost put WWF out of business. And then all of a sudden they went completely fucking bankrupt and lost their minds and then didn't have anything. I don't know. The significance of WCW, I think, is set aside. What are your thoughts on AEW passing this milestone that WCW had?
As I just said, I'm shocked that we're actually there. But then to look at it, I'll look at it as people saying, it's the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Cody's promotion. It's going to last for a couple years and it's going to die down. It has died down. It has died down. From the very first thing, it's died down a lot. Some people are poo-pooing it. It has become the number 2 in America, in North America, let's say, because it has surpassed TNA quickly.
Yep.
NWA only shows stuff on X now, which is, I don't know how that happens. I'm happy that it's still here because and I'm going to go back and be PC and all of that. It is the alternative. As much as I love, in my older age, straight line threads with maybe a twist and turn here or there, I love not knowing what's going to happen. When we do our predictions, we're pretty solid on WWE.
Yeah.
What always separates us, because we're both cockeyed and crooked half the time on AEW because we think we know, AEW just gives us what we don't know. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know if it's answering your question, but it's pseudo answering it, that I think there's so much more that they can do. I'll go back to saying, like, I think Tony still needs help, without a doubt. He will never get help, though, because he's ego, man. It just blows my mind, essentially, that AEW is old now. As it is old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's outlasted my childhood.
Yeah.
Almost. Well, my high school years.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. My high school years. So, they're there.
Mm-hmm.
They're there for the niche. They're there for wrestling fans. They're still not there for sports entertainment fans.
Yeah. And they'll never be. They will never be there for sports entertainment fans. What I will say is, I think I've always had these deep reflective thoughts of how long things actually take. When I look at Austin's WWE career, it was 96 to 2001, 2002 and a half, right? 5.5 years of a solid run. That blows my mind. The Attitude Era was 97 to 2001. That blows my mind. So WCW being from 95 to 90 to 2001 barely blows my mind. And then something eclipsing that blows my mind. What I think, this could get the hate, I think a lot of people don't realize is AEW is what WCW wanted to be. Mm-hmm. WCW had the talent to carry a wrestling program, to be the counter to WWE storylines, and it could do something immaculate, but it let egos destroy it from within and created a toxic environment that the talent decided to go elsewhere, and the elsewhere was the brand that they were competing against. If they had checked everybody's egos and did not write in creative clauses that allowed them to run rickshaw and let the wrestlers book the show, WCW would have been around maybe to this day as the alternative to WWE, and we wouldn't even be talking about AEW. For all the flaws that Tony Khan has, and for all the flaws that AEW perceives to have, the conversation we've had here, the points you've made, AEW leaves it unpredictable to the sense of they can pull any thread when they need to, and even though the Bucks and everybody has egos and whatnot, they still put people over, and they still let the ego, they still get checked at some capacity.
I was just going to say, they check them at the door at some time.
At some time, they check them at the door and say, this is better for business.
Stealing Triple H's own thing.
Exactly. Jericho may not, but whatever. But the things besides the point, that's why AEW is going to surpass WCW, and that's why it's also going to probably be around for many more years, despite the billions that are funding it from Tony Khan's father. It's still going to carry a lot of legs for a lot of time.
They're still making money.
They are making money, hand over fist.
To go on the whole time frame thing, and as you were speaking, it still boggles my mind. When I think of era, I think of a solid 10, like a 10-year, like a decade is an era for me. And I know eras can be a week or a month or whatever, but I always put an era as a decade in my mind. So as time frames, we forget that Austin only wrestled 6 years, or Rock really only had 100 matches, or what? Yeah, not really 100 matches. Throw that out. Everything is so short. As you're saying this, my grandmother just came into my mind, and it's because we live for Monday Night Raw. So we watch Monday Night Raw, and I'm getting to my point. It's this long.
No, you're good.
We watch Monday Night Raw. So 11 o'clock, we're talking, me and you, back in the day. We're talking Monday Night Raw. We're talking Monday Night Raw on Tuesday. We're talking Monday Night Raw on Wednesday. We're talking Monday Night Raw on Thursday. Oh, SmackDown comes. SmackDown is now Friday, Saturday, Sunday to Monday Night Raw. So we're living that day of 3 hours that they were on the show, or 20 minutes that said act was in the ring. We're extending that as fans, as podcasters, everything, making that one thing fuck we still talk about WrestleMania 3, Steamboat Savage. I brought it up 30 fucking years later. That is so fresh in our mind that it just happened.
Yeah.
So it is never a real timeline for professional wrestling. So the Stone Cold only wrestled for 6 years. Fuck, I thought he was in the ring 100.
Yeah.
Because we just relive it. Boom, boom, boom. So my grandmother said, days take forever, but years fly by. Which makes me think, we're still talking about Montreal Screwjob.
Mm-hmm.
That was a blip in wrestling history. But it's that day that we talk about. We'll take a day and extend it for 30 years. Dude, that match lasted how long, Jenks? 25, 30 minutes? Ballpark.
Yeah.
I was going to say crucify. Put it on a crucible. That was boom. Well, we forgot about the fucking rest of the year.
Yeah.
Because it flew by. Because we were stuck on that moment. That's where my grandma was like, days happen, and they happen, and they happen, and happen. And that's happening. Real life days are flying by you, but you just continue to live that day, which makes that day so much longer. Like I said, Raw ends at 11. We talk about Raw until fucking Friday.
Yep. 100%.
But Monday never ended for us.
No. And it never does.
Which makes Stone Cold, when he came out as a ringmaster, to then he ended 6 years. Ballparking again, before everybody starts getting on our shit. 6 years. That was the fastest 6 years of my life.
Mm-hmm.
We don't understand time as wrestling fans.
We understand moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. This whole conversation made me think of, at one point we were going to have Ask Can Crushers, right? And I had a list of questions.
75 fucking...
Yeah.
No.
But I had a list of questions that I wanted to bring forward. One of the questions was around eras and around 3 to 4 years. We've already talked through it, so we don't need to rehash it. But it was like, in the question I wrote down, I don't know if I like it, but I'll read it. Is the lifespan of loving something new or changing in professional wrestling 3 to 4 years? I said that because the Attitude Era lasted 4 years. WCW's big run on top was 4 years. AEW's getting past that, but it was essentially 4 years. We'd go the Golden Era. It was 84 to 89, essentially. You know what I mean? It seemed like 4 to 5 years was that window of what greatness is before people started turning on it and kind of being done with it and tired with it and all of that. And I think we've hit that with the eras in our conversation here is, if it's something special, it lasts forever.
Yep.
The years themselves are fine. They time boxes. They help organize those moments into points in time. But we know 1997 as beginning with WrestleMania 13, Bret and Stone Cold, and ending with the Montreal Screwjob with Bret and Shawn Michaels. Yep. That's how we know 1997. 1998, we know an Austin era has now begun. In the end of 98, The Rock has joined the corporation. 96, we knew as the NWO began to run wild on everybody. And that's what we remember about 96. Every year has 1 to 2 to maybe 3 moments that we place on the pedestals.
As the era.
As the era that defines the era. And when the era ends, we have specific moments for that. Austin Rock. You know, whatever you want to do in the 89s, whatever it is, there's an era, there's something that ends it. I throw this out to you. We're older men.
Some are much older. Thank you.
Right.
Oh, you
But
fucking agreed rather quickly, but okay. I'm kidding.
I know. But the moments that happen now aren't as significant as the moments that happened then to us.
No.
But someone that is 10 years old, 5, 10, 15 years old, Roman losing the title to Cody Rhodes is their Austin era has just begun, or is their Austin Rock main event? That's the beauty of wrestling fans.
Yep.
Eras define whatever, generations define what their greatest moments were that they remember and carry forward.
Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. I'm glad you saved that for 3 months in your back pocket. Because without a doubt, it in everybody's era is defined by, there's people that probably do not like Brett and Stone Cold. They didn't like that match. So they're like,
100%.
oh, man, that's what they're classifying as one of their big matches of that era. I liked Tatanka against Ludwig Morga to wrap it back around.
Right? Yeah. Dude,
And it's
how
okay.
many? Yeah, it's absolutely okay. How many people like Hogan, Andre versus anything Stone Cold does?
Do you want the truth?
Do it.
That was the greatest thing I've ever seen in Katanning, Pennsylvania on fucking closed circuit TV at that age.
Yeah.
Driving an hour and a half away, because that's how close circuit was to us at that time.
Yeah.
Sitting in, I don't know, some whatever, church or whatever, watching it on closed circuit. It's because that's my childhood.
Yeah.
I didn't know then that Andre had been slammed 700 times before, whatever it was.
Right.
That was the most powerful slam I've seen in my life. And it was, as a 48-year-old man now, it was less than a fucking hip toss.
Yeah. It was barely anything.
Now, never let that go, because I'm smiling right now thinking about it. Jenks is, that was my childhood. That was, at that point, I was freaking red and yellow through and through. If I could have had my parents cut a mullet in my head and dye me blonde, I would have. Man, I would have been a short, fat, ugly Hulk Hogan. But I would have. Because that was my thing. Now looking back, outside of the ring, I would have hated myself for looking like Hulk Hogan.
Right. Right. But for other reasons outside the ring.
Right, yeah.
But
for that era talk, I love that the WWE or whatever, it's essentially just WWE, classifies their eras. Like right now, I hate that it's called the Netflix era. I despise it. It could have been, cool, you're on Netflix. Don't call it the Netflix era.
Yeah.
Or
something else.
What if you sign with Netflix for 500 years?
Yeah.
Is it always going to be the Netflix era now? Nah.
Mm-mm.
In 4 years, it needs to be called something else.
Yeah. That's what history dictates for you.
Right. You can keep going.
Now, this will encapsulate, I think, this whole conversation. Kimberly has never watched professional wrestling before I came in the picture.
You're in the Kimberly era right now.
Yeah, exactly. You guys know this, I watch Mankind Undertaker in the Hell in a Cell every year on June 28th because that, to me, is one of the fucking mind-blowing things that I've ever seen in my life. And last year I did it. First year she's moved in, right? And I'm like, okay, I have to watch this. It's a wrestling match. It's a Hell in a Cell. It's brutal. It's really just something that does a lot to me, right? And she's like, okay. First time fan, she's just watching. She's just getting up to speed. She watches the match and goes, I didn't think it was that bad. And I go, didn't you see the thumbtacks? The guy got thrown 16 feet in the air. I'm like losing my mind. And she's like, I don't see the brutality of it, right? And to me, that was mind-blowing, but to us talking about it today, it's the newer fans don't understand how graphic that was back then because we had the context of fucking gimmicks
Yeah.
leading up to that.
Great reference, because again, as you were talking about that being like a brutal match for us and everything, I once a year around Halloween/Thanksgiving, whenever, I watch Night of the Skywalkers, Road Warriors Midnight Express,
Yeah.
the Scaffold match.
Yep.
Okay? In essence, a horrible match.
Right.
In wrestling, technology-wise.
Yeah.
Whatever you mean. But in the 80s, that was unbelievable to see somebody falling 20 feet from a fucking ladder. That scarred me. Scarred me for life. I hate heights. I hate scaffolds. I hate all of that. And I work in a place that does shit like that.
Right.
Until that Hell in the Cell, that was in my mind as a child to, essentially 10 years later, that was my brutal match. There was cage matches. There was this. Right. I wasn't really into barbed wire or anything then yet. That was it. So my era goes Skywalkers to that Hell in the Cell. That has then surpassed Night of the Skywalkers.
Yep.
Now, I've seen death matches where people die in the ring, essentially. But,
right.
But there's an era. There's an era for you.
Yeah.
Boom, and I'm like, holy shit, of how it just changed in 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, they were scared to fall off of the
thing.
The scaffolding.
Right.
Mick wanted thrown off the cage.
Yeah. He'd do it in the heartbeat. He did it again in the heartbeat.
He says it in the freaking thing, in the wrap it all the way back around to the beginning of the show. He says it in the freaking Dark Side of the Ring. He knows. That is, no matter what he did before, and I saw fucking Mick Foley years before this when he was Cactus Jack Manson against Shane Douglas in Indiana, Pennsylvania in an AWA show that both of them were greener than me and you.
Yeah.
Because Dominic DeNucci was training them both. Who the fuck is this guy? 30 years later, the son of a bitch signed my goddamn arm. And I can't stop talking about it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Moments.
Why he created moments. And
that's
moments
that was the biggest thing. I don't care what he did prior or after that. That's what you know Mick Foley for.
Yep. Not
as Socko. Socko was cool afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Then you think of the bedpan. Then you think of this. Then you think of him and Terry Funk. If you're not thinking visually as a wrestling fan, Mick Foley flying off of that in the Civic Arena.
Yeah.
You don't know Mick Foley.
No. You don't know anything about Mick Foley at that point.
Yeah. You have anything else?
I think that's perfect.
Think that's a perfect place.
That's perfect.
Jenks, I actually love this way that we did everything, by the way, compared to breaking shit down. So maybe we have a major discussion. We'll also always do our predictions, so don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But just throwing it up there and talking about it, if you're this far, thank you again. Thank you for rejoining us. Thank you for loving us. We're back. We need to get the State of the Union of just talking wrestling and get it back in our veins for WrestleMania next week. Predictions will be, because we want to spoil so much stuff for you, because we know WWE. Do we anymore, though?
I guess we'll find out.
By the way, I do need one last question.
Shoot.
When the fucking is Rusev and Aleister Black coming back? They're both just sitting and catering.
I know. The one rumor I saw was Malachi, where Aleister was going to be Randy Orton's opponent, and then like Rusev's hanging around, just signing autographs, bringing Lana around. Mania? After Mania?
By the way, good for those two, but FYI.
Yeah, they figured they got through the rough patch. Yeah.
Good for them.
100%. To your point, After Mania? I don't know. Also, I wasn't expecting Ray Phoenix to be on SmackDown away from Penta, but that happened too.
Yeah, but I think that's only
I think that's for
a hot
better.
minute because they had Penta build up so much for Mania that they're like, we can't fucking make these guys a tag team yet.
It's gonna be for like a year, and then they'll bring them back together and like a draft or some bullshit. But anyways, maybe sometime we'll see Rusev and Alistair.
I really can't wait until it's Rusev Day, by the way.
Either.
If the shirt comes back out, I'm buying one this time.
I don't think it will.
I know.
I think he's going to be the Bulgarian brute for a couple years.
Bumps me out. Is Lana back too? I don't know. Did they re-sign Lana?
I think is she under contract with AEW? Because she was late in the game on his contract when his contract was lapsing, so.
Yeah, but more on that.
Yeah.
Never. Jenks, this was a fucking blast. I love you. I'm glad we're back.
Love you. Glad we're back too. Finally.
And Crushers is back.
Back.
What do you got going on this week?
Oh, man.
Fighting stuff.
We have, so this week, Kimberly's birthday. So we'll shout out her next week as well. Happy birthday. Lots of odds and ends. After the bachelor party weekend, because we left early on Sunday, got back home by 9:30, ended up buying a shit ton of mulch that needs to go down. It's peppered around my house right now. That needs to just get in the yard. So that's probably going to be Sunday when I think it clears up and becomes sunny, partly cloudy. So that will be my weekend. During the week, though, just hanging out, being a chill guy. What about
you have a house?
I got a bar in this house I got to get rid of. But yeah, how about you? What do you got going on?
As you're listening, I'm on my way to Pitt. Football season's not around the corner, but the spring game's here, so I'm excited for that.
No.
Again, with all the rain and everything we had, there's probably going to be 1 million games coming up that we're going to try to tackle as many as we can, but me and the other broadcasters said we can't do the burnout that we do in basketball. It's just not safe, essentially, for all of us to be doing so many hours. Easter's a hop, skip, and a jump away, essentially.
Night 2 of WrestleMania is Easter.
Yeah. So yeah, all of that is right around the corner. But if I'm not doing anything, I need to get baseball being played. I need to, hopefully if it clears up, get Fatty out to the ballpark to run around a little bit, get his winter weight off. Not that he's gained much weight. He runs around enough. And make sure there's no ground chucks in the yard, essentially, because we don't need to be running halfway down the street.
I don't know what you mean. I think he has to run halfway down the street. He's got to get the sprints ready. He's got to get ready to get on the field.
Damn kids. Damn kids. I'll tell you. Other than that's about it. This started off great that we were so happy to be back, and then you saving that question from Ask Can Crushers. So much is running through my mind as I look at like Haku and Al Snow, and I'm like, man, the eras that I've lived through, even all the way back. And I know those are the first two that I looked at. I'm like, they're like, what era was Haku and Al Snow? But the question about was Stone Cold and Brett comparative to Hogan and Andre? Yeah, we've seen a lot in wrestling.
We have. More than we actually realize until we look at it.
Yeah. And we forgot a lot in wrestling. So that's something that maybe we should just rekindle things that we forgot. I don't know how you do that. We'll talk about that later. Jenks, I love you.
Love you too. We got
this. Do you remember this?
Let's see.
Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
I believe it's because you're a garbage can, not a garbage cannot. Make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them.
because you never know.
Whoop whoop.